How about
Lou, Mary,
what was his wife's name?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, just Charles Kroll of all people. And who else did I run into at Disney World? Oh, it was Schwarzkopf. You know, it was after the big...
Norman Schwarzkopf?
Norman Schwarzkopf. Yeah.
Storm and Norman.
Remember Norman Schwarzkopf?
Norman?
Yeah, he was the general.
How many famous people are named Norman? I
Yeah,
wonder.
that guy. You remember him?
Storm and Norman?
Storm and Norman.
Well, I guess you'd say Norm McDonald.
Yeah.
Norman Bates.
Yeah,
You know me.
Norman McDonald.
I'm a history buff.
Yeah.
You know me.
2 sides, 4-piece chicken, da-da-da-da, KFC.
Okay, no, the story's about living, you're talking about parenting, and the story's about you living in the doctor's house, of course, answering the door, that whole thing, or you're going to lose some
Well, there's me being the kid, and then there's
Yeah.
me being a
Well,
parent, too.
well, yeah, right, but you got the
Moving to
double
the
whammy.
suburbs.
You got the double whammy, because your dad was kind of a,
Yeah.
Pervert.
was your dad strict?
He got a rectal exam every morning
Yeah.
to make sure.
He'd stick his finger up my balls and go, cough. Hey, I'm still sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fine. No problem.
But I did have to get my physicals from my dad. That was kind of weird. 1 minute,
They grab your little
I got 4 good stories.
probe the scrobe.
You got specma, man?
He probed the scrobe.
You got specma?
No.
You don't
no,
really take
I
care
know
of
what
that?
smegma is, but I got those jeans that have a scotch in them, so I got room for work.
You don't know what specma is?
Spankma.
Specma.
Smegma.
S-P-A-E-M-A.
That's that shit between your balls and your asshole?
What's what the Jewish people don't get their specma.
Yeah. No, they do get it cut off. They always
Called foreskin.
Yeah, they get their foreskin chopped. That's called a bris. They do that when they're born.
It's called what?
A bris. So when that's when the rabbi cuts they fucking circumcise them.
A bris.
The bris.
So it's Catholic. They told you.
No, it's the people that don't have any religion that don't know anybody.
Oh, that's
It's the Arabs, because that's where they hide their gum. They hide their gum in their fucking...
Look, you out all over.
Now we're going on there. Let's go. Play the intro. Into the nightclub. Oh, it's not what the song is. Nightclub. The women be humping.
And another relevant story here too. So I got a side with it.
Okay. Doing happy birthday.
That's what they mean.
Really?
Which means they don't do the stupid songs and they do good songs.
So you can sing happy birthday now and I get sued. So I don't worry about ASCAP or BMI or happy birthday.
Well, they still might call. You
to
can
you.
say, hey, fuck you. That's told them to say, but ask that. It's the wonderful word. You know,
That's why I pay licensing on the station, so I don't get those fucking calls.
Yeah, sure. But that's why we had XM next door at the restaurant, so we didn't have to worry about ASCAP and BMI.
No.
I'm already paying for my music.
Yeah, she brought my hat up and let him wear it. I mean, if you're you tell me about my store.
Hey, this is Derek, and this is What the Fuck at Mason City Limits. We're back. It's another Thursday night. We're going to be talking about things that make you say what the fuck and people that make you say what the fuck.
No, WTF stood for what the fuck.
What the fuck?
You
Minus
didn't know
the...
that? Okay.
Yeah. There's a whole... Well, Marc Maron obviously has this What the Fuck podcast podcast that
Yeah, ours is
It's kinda-
100% Mark Maron free.
Oh,
Until we get our
100%.
100th episode, then we might ask him to be on the show.
that would be
And
fun.
it'd be 99% Mark Maron free.
There's a story about the Gone Rogue thing too. I don't know if you knew this, but back in the day when we were trying to figure out what to call this thing, this friend of mine said, well, how about going rogue? Because that means unprotected anal sex. And I was like, you know what? That sounds good to me. So it was Gone Rogue Radio after that. So we're really actually,
Unprotected.
yeah, we're unprotected butt sex radio.
And we
That's
have
what we
high
are.
stools to
Yeah, high stools. Hey Doc, I got that stool you ordered.
Yeah. I want to give a big shout out to 911 Vapor Inc., who does a lot to sponsor our radio station. And I recently did a commercial for them, and I'm so proud of it, I want to play it. This is our one and only commercial interruption for this show.
911, what's your emergency?
I can't breathe. I have the chills in the winter and burn up in the summer. I think cigarettes are killing me.
Stay with me, sir. Help is on the way. I'm dispatching you to the emergency vaping technicians at 911 Vapor. With a large supply of equipment, awesome house flavors, and premium lines of fluid, Craig Kitson and his staff will have you breathing easier.
If you are experiencing a vaping emergency, go straight to 911, 846 South Main Street in Jacksonville, or call the dispatch center at 217-243-9110. Or you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/911 Vapor Inc. That's VAPORINC.
So that was our 911 Vapor commercial starring,
I like that. Good
yeah,
to hear
Jeff
that.
Gavednik was in there.
Yeah.
Angel played the dispatcher.
Jeff played the coffee man.
He
Good
did.
job,
He
man.
did.
You sound like an emergency responder.
And my good friend Carlin Haggerty from Ohio, who's a really funny dude. And actually, if you were listening just previous to this show, the Lori and Carlin show, starring Carlin Haggerty and Lori Graves, just completed their 22nd episode. That's really cool. That's a lot. They've done a ton of shows for us.
Great.
Yeah, and Carlin is hilarious, and he did the
Chris show.
voiceover at the end, and he did a really professional job. Turned out really good. So.
Good friends.
That's 911 Vapor. And you know what? I'm a guy who can attest to vaping works. I gave up a 30-year tobacco habit, and couldn't be happier. I go to 911 for everything that I get.
How much nicotine is in what you're vaping?
Well, it depends. Well, that's one of the options that you get with vaping that you don't get with cigarettes. You can moderate the amount of nicotine that you get in the fluid that you get. And so you can actually lower that over time, theoretically down to zero. And they do have products that have zero nicotine in them.
They have a product
So
called
we're-
placebo.
Yeah.
Placebo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Placebo Domingo.
And I want to mention that we've got a lot of stuff coming up at Mason City Limits, but I'm doing a show locally on October 17th at Four Seasons Sports Complex in Springfield with Tyrone Robinson and Ray Philly Phillips. Produced and promoted by my friend Aaron Uncanny Phillips, who's hip hop.
No relation?
Actually, that's his son.
Okay.
But Aaron does a lot of hip hop promoting, and he's actually doing some big hip hop conference in Atlanta the week before.
So you doing some hip hop?
Me?
Yeah.
No, it's the guy
okay.
who's doing a show that's going to be promoted by a hip hop guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
do that.
I'm on the show.
Yeah.
It ought to be
We can
fun.
do it.
He packs people in, so it ought to be a good time. And we got some great stuff coming up in Mason City.
Yes, we've been kind of touch and go through the summer months. And then we had Donnie Baker who kicked ass for us, and then last weekend, should have been a hangover weekend anyway, we had the downtown parade. Gonzo was on stage for forever.
Forever. Yeah.
Not the most ideal circumstance.
Hey, somebody requested this song again.
Happy birthday.
And so we were off last weekend. This weekend we're back with Tim Cavanaugh from the Bob and Tom Show.
Great reason to come to Mason City.
Ex-teacher, used to teach religion at an all-girls high school. And then he started doing these funny songs, and he took their comedy club, and they hired him, and the rest is history.
Absolutely hilarious. And
Bob and Tom
if you
Live.
listen to Bob and Tom at all, he's on there all the time. You're probably familiar with
Oh, he
Tim
does
Cavanaugh's
calendar
work.
things.
He does
birthdays.
the celebrity birthdays, and he does the one-minute songs, and he's really funny. And he's been doing it forever. I've known him probably since I first started. He was probably He started probably around when Dak started. I was about the same time.
And then Dak's the next weekend on
Dak's
the
the
3rd.
following weekend, and Dak started in 1980.
Yeah, he's
And,
from Cleveland.
I'll pull up a Tim Cavanaugh clip. We'll go ahead and...
Yeah, do the fly of the tiger. That's hilarious.
Fly
Matter
of
of
the
fact.
Tiger.
Yeah, it's do the eye of the
Here we
tiger
go.
about Tiger Woods.
Fly the Tiger.
Yeah.
I know. I got the eye. Motherfucking eye is working, man.
Sorry, this is on freaking.
18 holes and some practice. Every night he played around too with some line that he saw at the bar. And the fly of the tiger was unzipped once again. And he thought no one would be the wiser.
You can't hear it,
He
that's
had
pretty fucking
plenty
funny.
of wins,
Fly of the
some
tiger.
skis,
I heard
and
that.
holes.
Zip it down.
All had their eye on the fly of the tiger.
Oh, had their eye on the Fly of the Tiger.
So that's Tim Cavanaugh. That's who's coming up.
And then after that, our friend Dak Breakout. Dak was a Vietnam veteran who, when he was in Vietnam, he used to always carry a camera with him. His nickname was Kodak. So when he started doing comedy, behind the racing cars behind me.
Yeah.
When he started doing comedy, he went with the name Kodak until he got basically served with papers from Kodak.
Well, Kodak, all the execs were in the front row of the show, and then they decided to sue him, and then he changed it to Dak, and they still wanted to sue him.
And
And
the judge was
the
like-
judge was like, it's 3 letters.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Right.
And yeah, Dak's great. Dak Breakout. And funny.
Yeah. Goofy, funny. The quote I have, the headline is, Dak Breakout says, I try to have fun. That's how I lost over 59 jobs.
That makes sense.
That kind of
Since
show.
I was 14 years old, I haven't made a goddamn thing.
And after Dak, we've got an open mic night on Friday, October 2nd.
Yeah.
Should be coming up, and that will be.
I'd like to do that if I can get on the list.
It's pretty full. I talked to Buddha about that because he's the guy in charge. We probably will be doing a couple during October because we're kind of.
I'd like to get on one.
That doesn't sound like a goddamn thing.
We might be a little bit some
goddamn.
competition with the Cubs and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
That's
Cubs
why
Cardinals,
we
you
kinda-
never know.
Did you get
first
Haney?
weekend especially, it could be a really bad weekend for comedy. I think the Friday's open right now as far as the schedule goes.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're playing Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, so
Right.
that's kind of a weird thing. But I think we pretty much know who it's going to be. So I just hope those, I'd like to do some shows on Friday and Saturday. But if the Cubs and Cardinals are playing Saturday night,
Go to the bars and enjoy the game.
right.
Did you get our friend Rob Haney did you get that
Oh, yeah,
commitment?
he's still in the back burner, and we've got several possibilities. I'm waiting for a couple things to kind of unfold.
We do have some for sure things in
Yeah,
November.
Mark
Hastings.
Dillon and Drew Hastings
Yeah.
from the Bob and Tom Show.
Both huge.
And also coming in December, our friend Zan Ofterheide was back.
Really?
Very funny play. And then Ryan Singer is back.
Zane's
Oh
coming
yeah,
back.
awesome! I want to hang out with
Zane's
Ryan
adorable.
Singer.
Ryan Singer does a paranormal podcast called Meet Paranormal and You, and interesting cat, known him for a long time, and he's always a very kind of one of those guys who's always on the edge. You know, he takes a lot of chances. He does some really bits where he really gets into it, and it's like a piece instead of a shtick. And
What's the difference between a piece and a shtick?
probably a little bit less of a
How much you
laugh
rub it?
every laugh per minute. The piece about the Smurf bad guy. That's a
Oh,
great
yeah, oh,
piece.
yeah. Oh,
The
it's a
piece
nice
he does
piece.
about the racism with the cookies.
Oh, it's a great piece.
It's a great piece. So yeah, he's a very talented guy, very artistic, and
How old is he?
he's
You
about
know,
40 years
like You
old.
guys?
He's about 40 years old.
Yeah, Ryan Singer.
That's fucking young for
Yeah.
you guys.
That's my friend Jeff. He's a little buzz. He's just
He's
kind
not a
of
drunk guy like the Muppet Show. Remember the Muppet Show? The two old guys. We have a drunk guy. It's the same kind of concept though.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
hey,
So I just got a message
I had to
back.
translate throughout the movie.
Blood Moon.
Yeah, Blood Moon.
Chris was just recently on a local video webcast.
Yeah, and I apologize. My mic was down for like the first 17 minutes, and I was still talking, so
Right.
you can barely hear me. And then it kind of. But there's also an open mic going in Beardstown in mid-October, so I'd like to tell you that.
Cool.
Looking for comics to be on that.
I would love to, anyway, I wanted to give them a shout out, the Jerkcast guys, because I sent them a message and I said, hey, I'd love to do your show sometime, and they just got back to me, like, really responsive. That's cool.
Yeah,
So
John Plotnick is a real good guy, and again, that's the same group I was on. The other guests were doing the open mic over in Beardstown with 2 other comics. So, yeah, I told them the guy's looking for comics, so I think it'd be a great opportunity. I just said,
that's jerkcast.com, jerkcast.com.
And the weird thing was when I was there, we were sitting in a circle.
I don't know what that means. No idea what that means, but yeah, I do. Was it dark? Did you put money in the kitty?
We got what?
Oh, that's a good one.
I got wet.
So Jerkcast, check them out. And I want to mention that Angel is live crocheting as we broadcast as usual.
And she's taking requests. Call her right now.
Booties, headgear.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give out another shout out to our friend Cole, who's not here tonight,
I
but
was going to stop by.
Just had a baby.
he procreated. Yeah.
It's
So,
amazing how that works.
and I guess I should mention that our friend Dr. Gonzo is back,
Hey, it's good to be here,
Yep.
Derek.
along with
Chris.
his buddy
My friend Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah, it's been an afternoon.
Is Jeff the guy that's learning how to paint with you? Is that the guy who was on the
We're
ladder
gonna
the other day?
retire. We're
I
gonna
already know.
we're gonna try to paint.
Jeff is so close to retiring, he's drinking now like he is retired. That's how close he is to retire.
Drinking like you're
Okay,
retired.
shut up, Chris.
And I will translate for Jeff as the night goes on.
So Cole had a baby, and
Yeah.
we're
Boy or
gonna.
girl, did we know?
It's an it. It's a thing.
I saw the picture. I can't remember.
Wow, okay.
I was more like, wow, you had a
The
baby.
listeners will have to wait till next week.
Yeah, we'll reveal the identity. So tune in.
You got any good parenting stories,
Oh
Gonzo?
my God, man! When I was a
It
kid,
started because of the Ahmed kid, right?
oh man,
The parenting there, because I mean, he basically,
Sounds kind of
you know, the
political.
thing that was the fake bomb thing that was a clock, that whatever.
Oh
you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about
But
kid
yeah,
and
it turns out his
parents
sister
talk-
had been suspended like 3 years earlier for another fake bomb thing that she was involved with. So I don't know how many families. What's the percentage of families that get 2 fake bomb threats in the same fucking school?
It depends on what school district you're
Yeah,
in
yeah,
and
yeah.
how.
So probably Philadelphia is probably pretty off.
They didn't evacuate the school. They didn't, nobody scattered because hey,
I'm
he's
just
got a
saying,
bomb.
Comedy Central, I responded to a tweet by Comedy Central because they had him as a guest.
Oh really?
And he said, I knew I was right and I'd win in court. And I always said, hey, just curious, could I get past the Comedy Central security if I showed up with a device that looked like that?
Probably not.
Looked like
Probably
a
not.
bomb.
Hell no I could. So why the fuck they have
I
this
must
kid
have
on?
loved that one because I agree.
Well,
Don't take a clock apart and go in there.
did he just do it for the challenge? Was it?
I don't
Did he know that it was
I
going
think
to create
it's very
controversy?
orchestrated.
Who the hell cares?
But anyways, we talked about parenting, and it came out because Cole had a baby as well. But of course,
Well,
I'm just saying, if you have 2 kids involved with fake bomb threats, I don't know what kind of parent you
Yeah.
are.
Hey,
Well-
exactly how.
Maybe I can question your parenting skills at that point. I don't
Well,
know. Maybe
my-
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
I never built a clock. I played with my clock.
No.
You want to know what time it is? You want to see my clock?
It's a clock
Have
on
you-
your
have
fucking
you-
phone, man.
Do you ever hear about these parents that hoax their kid going up in a weather balloon?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, I never heard that one. No.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to.
that one. Yeah, that was in Colorado. Yes.
They were trying to do a. They wanted to
Surprisingly
get
not
on a
in there.
reality show.
Surprisingly not in Florida. That was
Surprising.
Colorado. Yeah, or this has happened many times where the parents fake the kids have cancer to get donations.
Oh yeah.
It's happened in Ohio, but it's happened several times. And like they might even be getting
They call that
saving
Munchausen-
pills
Munchausen
just to have
disease?
lethargic,
Rico.
just so shave their head, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that happened in Mechanicsburg, Ohio. And I mean, it just, man, for one thing, it just hurts everybody who needs that. You know, everybody who needs it.
Well, Ohio has some issues, and that's probably a good point to segue into your weird news.
We do have
Ohio appeared in the weird news this
Chris
week.
happens to be from Dayton, Ohio.
And, again, we did get voted the #1 drunkest city in Ohio.
Yeah, well,
Just
explains
edging out
everything.
Canton.
Yeah, there were some other ones in there, but per
Did you
capita.
vote?
No, it wasn't up to me, man. I just read it.
Chris
online.
participated. That's what he did. He
Did
added to the total.
I just read the story and shared it
Martin
online.
Luther King was said, I have a dream.
Okay, see, that's why I warned you about that.
Okay, we'll talk about Dayton.
Okay, so anyways, Dayton, Ohio, and then I got, of course, Dennis Piper piped in. He didn't think the methodology was quite correct, and that it cheated college towns like Oxford. And I said, well, in all fairness, every time I've been in Oxford, Ohio, I have been drinking with Dennis Piper.
Oh,
So
yeah, I drank with Dennis
Yeah.
Piper.
So that was, and I got some great responses to that, but the funniest one was, what was, let me look at that real quick.
Not mine, apparently.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see yours till after you told me about it. So
Mine was just explains everything.
Did I mess that up?
Not yet. Our friend Pat
Okay.
Kilbane
Well,
chimed in.
All you gotta do is tell me
And
something.
it's always good to hear from
That's
everybody, Pat
pretty good.
Kilbane.
Trust me, my wife's been telling me that for 40 years.
I'm sure that's not the only thing she's had to say.
Parenting.
Sometimes I disagree with it, but
Okay, so again, Dayton, Ohio, and I had all these comments about the best drinking, #1 drinking city in Dayton is Ohio. In Ohio is Dayton. So my buddy Dennis Piper kind of said it was more of a meth list than a drinking list. I didn't want to argue with that. I'm sure that's probably
I
false
think
about
you got
saying.
some black spin, and your spin's about burn out, bro.
Okay, that's my computer analyst.
Well, don't take no brain surgeon to figure
Well, we had
it
a couple
out.
other stories too while that was loading down. The music company does not own the Happy Birthday song anymore. That is public domain. So you don't have to
Really?
worry about sending a check anymore when you sing that.
No kidding.
Right, the big thing is, when you go to Fridays, they can sing Happy Birthday instead of that annoying Happy Birthday, we're so fucking happy it's your birthday song. So I think that's the good news for everybody. We can go back.
So you could play the Beatles song, but you couldn't sing Happy Birthday to people.
I don't know if you sing the Happy Birthday song. Allegedly, you're violating copyright. So I think that's why all the chain restaurants did those pretty weird songs. So they didn't have to pay this owner. Now
Was
they-
it ever enforced, is what I'd like to
Well,
know. Was
I
it?
don't know. That's another big. See, those people probably have to buy BMI or
Pretty
ASCAP
flexible,
because
huh?
they have background music.
Record
So
it,
they might have a weird thing. If somebody comes in, they always do these undercover things where somebody comes in and just listens and whatever, and then says, "Oh, by the
They
way,
have,
you
they
have a
have
license?"
ASCAP spies?
They do. They absolutely do. Big cities, not not around here, but
Wow, I didn't know.
Big cities, yeah, you'll get in trouble for that. They
No
can sue
kidding.
you, and they have pretty much lock, stock, and barrel as far as the laws on their side. Yeah, so
Wow.
be careful. But I mean, again, they tried to get a hold of me and do that, but I was like, hey, we're a comedy club, we don't do music, and a lot of comedy clubs have just gone to straight video, like, Saturday Night Live reruns, whatever, little skits, to kind of, prime the crowd the first 45 minutes before the show starts. Instead of background music, that's your background. So,
Well, I'd like to point out at this point that Gone Rogue Radio actually pays licensing fees to streamlicensing.com every single month, so we're 100% in compliance, and we can sing Happy Birthday.
YouTube, we had a problem with YouTube on the rock and roll roulette thing, so that was...
Yeah, YouTube is a pain in the ass. Like, actually, it's AC/DC. Whoever holds AC/DC, if you put any AC/DC song on YouTube, they'll block it worldwide.
Okay, now we know. So that was Vilmos's fault, because he was an AC/DC fan.
Yeah.
And
Oddly, you can put a Chipmunks cover of an
And
AC/DC.
that doesn't bother him?
No, not at
That
all.
doesn't bother him at all. That's great. Okay, another alcohol-related story. The vast majority of Americans who drink excessively are non-alcoholics, new CDC study shows.
Really?
So good news for all of us people who like to drink excessively. And we know it can cause serious health risks and is responsible for an average of 88,000 deaths a year, but the vast majority of such excessive drinkers are non-alcoholics according to new government data. It's 9 of the 10 excessive drinkers are actually not dependent on alcohol.
They're just bingers.
It's not dependent, no. They might act like assholes, but they're not dependent on alcohol. And I guess that's the difference. And it was by a Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and Substance Abuse and Mental Health. Seems like a lot of ands there. Let me read that again. By the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Are those all different centers?
Yeah, I guess you can use a comma, but you might be running those together. That's 4 different ones. The study is one of the first national multi-year look at alcoholism among excessive drinkers and debunks the assumption that most excessive drinkers are dependent upon alcohol. There we go. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's celebrate.
So do you think most alcoholics are the kind of people who like pour one as soon as they wake up, they're drinking all day long?
I would think it's
sort of
I think that once you drink, you can't stop until you're blacked out. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure you could probably go a day or 2 without. But I mean, if you every time you drink, you get drunk. For me, it's just Thursdays.
Jeff too.
Yeah, Jeff, that's good. I warned you about Jeff. Okay, knowing that, here's the big takeaway here is that people who drink too much don't need to worry about their habits, said the author of the study. But it shows that combating excessive drinking as a public health problem needs to go beyond focusing only on alcoholism. So let's get more people. Let's fucking booze shame more people. That's what they're saying. Knowing that 9 out of 10 people who drink too much are not alcohol dependent, it's no way diminishes the impact of alcohol dependence as a problem. Well, if we're not dependent on alcohol...
What's the motivation for releasing this study if not to diminish the... I don't understand. Sounds like that's the whole purpose of the study.
It's just to say the problem we're dealing with is bigger than that. We need to look at the problem
Is that really the point?
from a wider angle lens and consider not just treatment for those who need it. What?
Okay, so
And not
we're going to treat
consider
people other...
just treatment for those we want to treat people who don't need it? That's the stupidest part of everything. These people are in charge of your tax dollars. Alcohol dependence is a medical problem based on the consequences and the science and the symptoms of someone's drinking behavior. Where is that? Again, a lot of ands there.
Yeah.
People with alcohol dependence report symptoms such as withdrawal, unsuccessful attempts to cut down or stop drinking, and continue despite problems arising from drinking. Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, if you have several DUIs, yeah, you might have a problem. Well, about 1 in 3 adults drink excessively. That's how about that? 1 in 3 adults drink excessively. Well, what's excessively?
Yeah, I would like to know what their criteria is as well.
Yeah.
And does that count, like, for instance, if you're the kind of person that goes out on Friday night and gets hammered drunk, but you're cool Sunday through, is that person excessively drinking?
If you never drink at all, and you, at New Year's Eve, your wife never drinks at all, she has 3 glasses of champagne, and she ends up throwing up, well, that's drinking excessively.
Yeah.
For somebody who never drinks.
Exactly.
That's drinking excessively.
Right, so the criteria is kind of...
I don't know what the criteria is. We'd have to...
No, obviously they're being kind of selective
I think
about...
we might start with Jeff. All right, we're talking about drunk people.
Oh, you're talking about drunk people?
The study that says 9 out of
We
10
love
people
drunk
who drink
people.
excessively are not alcoholics.
That's the
Why?
point.
Yeah, they're just not dependent on alcohol.
They're not dependent on alcohol. They
Hi,
just
how
do
you
it
doing?
every
We got
once in a
another
while.
guest walking through.
Oh, hey, how about that? And we did that after, and then we have a couple other weird news
So you're saying
stories.
Jeff's not an alcoholic?
I didn't
We
say that.
think Jeff is an alcoholic, actually. We think Jeff has an alcohol dependency issue.
You're assuming he was functioning at some point in his life, and I don't know if that's the case.
he
Okay,
functions.
here's one here. World's grumpiest old woman glues nude bottom to the department store window in protest of everything.
Her nude bottom?
Wait. She glued her butt.
A
Say that
woman
again.
has glued herself to the exterior window of Debenhams, which I guess is the department store, which is in England, wearing a sash proclaiming her the world's grumpiest old woman.
I'm the world's
Mostly
grumpiest.
naked protester took the store.
I gotta know
And
if
the
she was the
center shop-
world's grumpiest old woman before she glued her ass to the
Well,
window.
I'd be grumpy if I had my ass
Well, she had
glued
to have
on.
the sash made, so I think she was before she did it. Many have posted images online about the incident, and the image, the woman with gray hair is wearing a sash proclaiming her the world's grumpiest woman. She is photographed standing on a stool holding a microphone. The woman, who the Croydon Advertiser reports as Kate Bishop, apparently said she was staging the protest because she was fed up with everything.
I can't
Well, how
blame
can you
them.
not protest that, you know?
Fucking A.
We can all get back, you know, we can all get behind her.
We could, glass in the way.
Because we all have something to
Our
bitch
girl
about.
is dead.
We all something to complain about.
But you know, would it be your first form of protest to go glue your ass to something?
I don't know. I don't know if she built herself up to this or.
This is like Gorilla Glue or? Are you talking about real glue? Talking about hot water and scrapers? How do you get off that? What do? You cut a big circle around the glass and cut her off?
I wonder, at 80 plus years old, what's it look like from the back?
Oh, let's put it this way.
Laughing.
She sits on her wrinkles.
Wow. Okay, this is from Indiana. This is another shocking.
Gotta
crime
love
story.
Indiana.
We do our share of crime stories,
Okay.
and this is a shocking. Police searching for bank robber disguised as Rick James.
Oh, bitch.
He looked just like Dave Chappelle.
On the lookout for a man who allegedly has robbed banks dressed as the late R&B musician Rick James. 2 men are suspected to have robbed the Advanced America Bank in Indiana on Saturday, September 19th. One man appeared to be disguised as Rick James, the other dressed as a character from the 70s movie Superfly.
Oh, man.
Now, are these really guys who are dressed as Rick James, or are they just
that's what I
fucking
said.
dudes wandering through the hood?
First
Yeah,
of
that
all,
look like Rick James.
I'm just talking about Shaq.
Can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
Damn right.
A news report reads 2 black men wearing all black entered the bank with handguns. Both men approached the teller and demanded money. The suspects ran an unknown direction, undisclosed amount of money. First suspect is described as being 5'8" to 5'10" with long dark hair, wearing sunglasses, a black hat, all black clothing, was armed. And they have a picture of him from the surveillance thing, and yeah, it does look like Rick James.
Well,
Rest in peace to Rick James, and
Yeah, it's just really a horrible thing because he never was arrested in his whole life.
No, yeah, he's a super freak.
Yeah.
the best episode of
suspect-
Chappelle was
Okay, the second suspect, 5'8" to 5'10", with long
Superfly.
and he was wearing black clothing. But again, he was the guy dressed as a Superfly. They don't have the Superfly character, but there he goes. There's the Rick James. Don't you
Super
think?
freak.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that is a Rick
Super
James looking
freak
guy.
motherfucker,
But
that.
I don't know what city in Indiana. Maybe you have a couple guys who look like that. I mean, that's
Do they have
a
a
couple guys that look like Rick James?
Do they have a guy that looked like Huggy Bear driving the getaway car?
Huggy Bear. That was from Starsky and Hutch, wasn't it? Huggy Bear.
Wasn't he Beretta? Wasn't
I think he was it might have been Beretta. On account I'm a cop. And on account you can have 5 cents in this hand, 10, you still can't get a cup of coffee.
And more shocking, my last story, a shocking true crime. Kansas man steals combine, sparks slow speed chase.
Sparks?
Slow speed chase.
Slow people.
And they say
Slow-
sparks because
slow
they lost
speed
the tire, so it was probably shooting sparks. John Ralph figures it was a bullet to the oil filter that killed his old case IH combine and brought a slow speed police chase to an otherwise peaceful end. They shot the combine.
They shot
Really?
the combine.
Officers tried 18 rounds of
Shot
farm
the
implement,
combine.
which was stolen Tuesday night from a cornfield east of Ellenwood in central Kansas, but not before the combine rammed 2 police cars, hit a pickup truck, and damaged power poles that attempted to elude officers at speeds approaching 20 miles an hour.
Whoa.
Why didn't they just walk up and climb on?
Since 1981, I've chased a lot of
Fuck, you
vehicles,
ever tried running?
but we've never chased a combine, Barton County Sheriff Brian Belladem said. A 37-year-old Ellenwood man was arrested on suspicion of several charges. Yeah, we caught you in a stolen fucking combine, running over telephone poles. No
What
formal
the fuck
charges
would you
have
do
been
with a
filed.
stolen combine?
You know, probably get home.
Maybe he yeah.
A couple shortcuts, maybe.
You
through
got a
the
lot of
field.
beans, you got a lot of wheat. These are
You
Kansas.
do a shortcut to the field.
A lot of wheat.
That's what you had.
Well, I live 2 doors away from a pawn shop, and the other night the pawn shop's alarm went off. And the observation we made was, what the fuck do you do with shit that you steal from a pawn shop?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Take it to another pawn shop?
probably.
You can't take it back there.
Well, they're gonna know. Hey, wait a minute. That's our tag on it.
All I know is if you're a legitimate pawn shop, you shouldn't be buying copper wire.
Yeah.
That's something I've heard. Deputies arrived at the county road near Ross property about 9:45 p.m. Tuesday after receiving a call about an abandoned vehicle. Soon, a 911 call told of a combine with no lights weaving from ditch to ditch. East of town, of 1,200 people in this town. Andrew Seeker slowed down for a curve when he encountered the oncoming implement, an 8-row corn head on the front. We met right at the curve and I swerved out of the way, said Seeker, himself a farmer. He swerved and hit some guy wires. It was close. The combine.
So the thief wasn't like a pro at driving this thing either. He was
I
just.
guess he wasn't another farmer. Yeah, I don't know if alcohol was involved. Let's take a look. But it doesn't mean he's an alcoholic. That's the important thing.
Happy
The
retirement.
combine struck several power poles in a pickup truck, ripping the corn head from the implement. So then he probably had a little bit more fucking maneuverability.
Right.
When an officer approached the man, put the machine in reverse and rammed the officer's car before fleeing. During the chase, a deputy pulled in front of the machine to set a roadblock, but it rammed and dragged. The roadblock.
Rammed and dragged.
I guess you can't. I don't know. They must have the stop sticks.
That's not the brilliant deputy on the force, I'm
Two officers
guessing.
opened fire, shooting out the tires and hitting the motor. The sheriff said the suspect who owns the vehicle was found abandoned on the road. Oh, this guy owned the vehicle.
Oh, he owned the combine?
The sheriff said the suspect who owns the vehicle was found abandoned on the road, was trying to restart the machine when he was taken into custody. No administrative action was taken with the officers, who were deemed justified in disabling the fireman before the threat was posed. So there we go. The runaway, because we saw that thing with old Al Cowlings. This was probably the country version of that. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of country ballad written about this incident.
Oh, I hope so.
So you can shoot a combine, but not an unarmed black male. That's
Yeah. It's got an REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, golden
Can't
your
tune
face
the
is so
reader
red,
fence or something
your
like
tires are flat, your motor's
So
dead.
that was my new weird news stories.
those are awesome weird news
We
stories.
were going to talk about parenting, and of course Gonzo was the son of the town doctor.
That's when
It
the
was.
bloody people would come to our door when we were kids. That was always fun. And then
Should we talk about Yogi Berra first? I think he's dying for some commentary.
Oh, Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra
Kidding me?
passed
Well, if
away.
you come to a fucking road, take it.
And first of all, we got to say, Yogi Berra was a hell of a baseball player for his time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we were talking
He
about one
won
of the
10
years.
World Series in 1950. He batted like 650 times.
Struck out 12 times.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
He said that his most memorable moment in Yankee Stadium was catching the Don
Perfect
Larson's
game.
game.
Yeah, well, why not? I
No
mean,
hitter.
Really?
Perfect game, man. I don't know him. It was
perfect
a
game,
perfect
and he called it.
game.
He called the game. I mean, that's got to be. He's a Mensa baseball player.
A lot of people remember him for the things that he said, but in actuality, if you look at his stats, he compared with a lot of
Yeah, you know-
really premier catchers.
I mean, Johnny Bench thought he was just the best, man.
Sure.
Johnny Bench was a pretty good catcher in and of his own right. That's for damn
Absolutely,
sure.
when they think it's better.
Yeah, there's so many better than that.
He may have been one of the best catchers ever.
Well, there's Gary Carter, I would say. I mean,
Gary
a lot
Carter
of
was
all
good.
stars. I don't know if he's that
Who was
level,
that other
but
guy that played for
he was-
Texas? Who was the kid that
Pudge Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Pretty
Yogi
good.
Berra had 358 home runs, 1,430 RBIs during his
And
career.
of course, we can't forget Ed Ott.
How
many hits?
years?
Ed Ott had the
don't know.
shortest name of any major leaguer.
Ed Ott.
Ed Ott. 5
How many
letters.
years Yogi play?
Oh, man, he started right after the war and played till 65, 21 years maybe.
I don't know.
And he did play in the war. First string.
Yogi Berra played.
Yeah, D-Day.
He played on a ton of great teams. I mean, he was teammates
Oh,
with Mickey
DiMaggio.
Mantle,
Titles.
Mantle. What's that?
They won 11
Mickey
times.
Mantle and Maris were teammates of Yogi Berra.
Whitey Ford.
Yeah,
Pee-wee.
Billy Martin.
yeah.
Pee Wee Reese.
Hank Bauer.
Hank Bauer.
Yeah.
Big Hank Bauer.
And then, even after he got done playing, he was a pretty damn good manager and a coach for
Yeah.
in Major League Baseball for
I
years
don't know how
and
he did
years.
that. It was the Mets and the, I don't
Look
know.
at the Mets.
The Yankees.
The Mets were
The
really
Yankees,
bad.
did he win anything with
Right
those as a
after
manager?
69,
Or was it only as a player?
Don't know.
lost the most games ever.
Because sometimes the best players don't make the best managers, you know?
Right.
But catchers are
That's
always
true.
good managers
Catchers are always-
because they're
there's
in
lots
on
of
every
catchers.
play.
Well,
you know?
Yogi was a pretty decent manager, looks like, because he managed Yankees in 1964, and they had a 99-63 record that year.
That's pretty dang
Yeah.
good year.
and they went 3-4 in the postseason, so they were eliminated. But then he went to the Mets in '72, and he was 292 and 296, so right at 500. And then he managed the Yankees for a year in 1984, and he went 93 and 85 with the Yankees that year.
Still, when you
Never
went
won a
over.
World Series, huh?
93 and 85 is very good.
Yeah, but he didn't make the playoffs.
93 and 85 would be impossible, though, because there's only 162
Well,
games.
postseason with a minute. Yeah, he was in the
Yeah,
World
Yeah,
Series.
and in '84 there was not an expanded
Oh,
postseason.
yeah, that's right. That was right.
So
That's okay.
'64 he managed against the Cardinals then, because the Cardinals won the World Series in '64 with that was Gibson and Carlton
That was
and
68.
yeah, but 67, 68, but in '64 they beat the Yankees, and it was Harry Carey was the announcer in '64, and who was the guy?
Yeah,
Third
Cox.
base? Boyer, Clint Boyer.
Chicago.
Clint Boyer, that brothers played against each other in the World Series. Clint Boyer and who was the other Boyer?
Cleat. Clint and Cleat.
Clint and Cleat. Clint played for the Yankees, and is that right? The Boyer brothers, anyway, '64. But that was also, I mean, he had Whitey Ford. He had a pretty damn good team.
Yep.
And Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris are pretty tough.
Right. And, you know, he's well known for his quotes, and one of those quotes he attributed to watching Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris hit back-to-back home runs, and that quote was, "It's deja vu all over again." That's one of his most famous ones.
Oh, yeah.
But he
Nobody
was-
goes there anymore because they're too crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody goes to the ball games that are too crowded.
Yeah.
You're going to observe a lot by watching. He said that.
I observe a lot by watching.
Here's a good one. He said, "I really didn't say everything that I said."
Yeah.
He sort of made a career out of these yogiisms after he was done with baseball. He was big with
90% metal and
Geico
50%
commercials.
physical.
This
Yeah.
game is 90% metal, and the rest of the half is 50%.
the other half. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was
The
good.
other half.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you
Yogi
come to a
Berra.
fork in the road, take it.
Yep.
I imagine he
You
got
know,
to see
talking about
a
the
ton.
streakers on the ball field.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh, that
this
was
is
classic line.
yeah. Yogi was catching a game at Yankee Stadium. Two streakers ran across the field, and reporters interviewed him after the game and said, "Were they men or women?" And he said, "I don't know. They had bags over their heads."
How can you tell?
That's funny.
That is funny.
So he's gone.
Yeah.
90 years old, nice life though. I mean, if we don't
He
look
had a
to be
good life,
90
man.
and
He had a good life. I'll
Well, we lost-
take 90.
yeah,
We lost
I'm
Darryl
gonna take
Dawkins.
75 because I can't afford to live to 90.
I can't afford it.
Daryl Dawkins died in August, and then Moses Malone died a couple of weeks ago, and now Yogi Berra's gone.
Who's next?
Probably a Negro.
Can you call it?
Oh, a Negro.
Oh, that's not a
I
good.
think Phil. One of them's dead. There's
Phil or
Phil and
Joe?
Joe. I think Phil's dead.
I don't know, those knuckleballers, they played till like their 50s.
Oh, Hoyt Wilhelm.
They must be 120 by now.
Man,
I mean, Joe Negro pitched at 40, but Phil was in the 50s when he was pitching.
Oh, still throwing that.
I think
thing.
Phil dead is dead.
Phil is alive.
Phil is alive. Is Joe dead?
I'm gonna find out.
Phil's the older of the two.
Phil and
He
Joe.
is. Joe died in 2006.
How many innings did that guy throw?
Joe Morgan died.
Joe Negro.
Joe Negro.
Joe Negro won 221 games, and he pitched for 7 different teams,
How many years?
from 67 to 88.
Wow. That's a 21-year career.
That's what the knuckleball can do for you.
Now, how about Phil? Phil pitched for more than 21 years.
Phil did. Phil
He was the older
won.
brother of the two. He probably taught Joe the knuckleball, right?
Phil won 318 games.
Oh, there we
Hall
go.
of Fame.
Yes, he is a Hall of Famer.
Yep, and he played from 64 to 87, so 23,
Oh,
23 years,
yeah.
23 seasons.
Good career
Won
throwing
318
knuckleball.
games.
I think they should. You know, they don't do it anymore either. Or the
Lost
submariners, like
274.
Kent Colby and Dan Quisenberry. Those
And,
guys always got.
Ted
drafted.
Abernathy.
Those guys.
Ted Abernathy.
I
Right there,
think-
the Royals, Tacoli, the Pirates. I remember that.
those
Sinker
guys-
ballers.
Tacoli also pitched for the Phillies
Crazy
in the
as
80s.
shit.
I think Phil
Jeff
Negro was the last
I
guy
met him.
to lose 20 games in the
Who's that?
season. Phil Necro was.
No, it was the guy for the A's.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, just recently.
No, it wasn't. It was under Billy Martin. It was that Matt Keogh.
Oh, Keith.
Matt Keogh.
Oh yeah.
Now that was pretty. So I don't know.
But
unless it was like one of the last year's Negro
Why
picks.
did you let some
Phil Necro also won
game.
20 games the year he lost 20 games.
Oh wow! Okay. You know what?
Win
You
20,
get
lose
right
20. That's
Yeah.
After about 15, they'll be going, this ain't working.
that's a lot of innings right there.
Yeah. Well, the knuckleball lets you throw.
Yeah.
Well, they don't do the knuckleball anymore. I don't know. Besides that kid Dickey, right?
Yeah, Dickey's playing for Toronto.
But I mean,
now.
that's about the only one I know of.
Is he with Toronto?
Yes.
And Toronto's they're playing really good ball.
Yeah, you might see him in the postseason. But I mean, that and again the submariners. You don't see the submariners anymore. And those guys always were tough, man.
There's
I
a
mean,
few guys that come in. It's just hard to pick up the ball.
Exactly. And
You know, you
if
just
you're a
see
one-time
them
through
there.
the,
Give him
it's
an
tough.
inning. Give him an inning. Give him the eighth inning.
Give them an inning and, give them the eighth inning. So I would say, but we were going to talk about your parenting skills.
Oh, yeah. All right.
With your experience being the son of the town doctor.
Well, being a parent myself, I mean, the pregnancy is the hardest part because you're living with Sybil. Big personality, stay with
You
it.
haven't been a goddamn.
And sometimes I felt like I was Snow White and she was the seven dwarfs. Dopey, grumpy, sleepy, bitchy, hungry, horny, and Doc. And you pick one. Just pick a personality today.
Pick horny, hopefully.
Sigourney, horny.
Were you in the generation that didn't go in the delivery room? Did you get out of that?
I went into the delivery.
Did you?
Yeah, I was there for I went through the Lamaze.
That used to be a thing, though. Like
I
there
learned how
was
to drive in France.
Yeah, that was a change. When did that change? Really?
probably in the
Yeah.
70s with
Probably
Lamaze. and
Early
all.
80s, that's when everybody started saying, hey, why don't you go in there? I'd rather sit out in the room and smoke a cigar,
Right.
Just paste.
Why you
It's not like you're going to help anything, right?
You cut
No,
all that.
not at
Yeah,
all.
what am I going to do?
Tell your wife to breathe.
I'm like
You-
playing
Why
Al
ain't
Giroux tapes going,
upset
breathe.
that didn't you, John?
She's like, it's all your fault, you son of a bitch. That's why I love being in here. This is great. But I tell you what, it's...
Hey, I wanted to
raising
come on your
kids.
tits the whole time anyway.
Look, I only had one thing in mind, and you changed it.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, but being a kid, we all grew up in a different time, when your parents were, kind of strict, and mom was sort of the one that took care of us all the time, and when dad came home, my mom was always like, you know what these kids did, and then he'd have to be the enforcer and beat your ass,
Wait till your father gets home. Wasn't that
Wait till your father gets
Did you
home.
get your ass beat a lot?
Oh yeah, I was
You were the oldest, too.
ADD.
Oh, yeah, you
Oh, your sister was ill.
I was the oldest boy, and the girl couldn't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she never got her ass beat, and you took the brunt of it.
No, and she was no angel, my sister. But
Oh,
that's,
She's got away with shit.
that's another
Not at
story.
all.
That's another story. I mean, Larry Thomas, come on. Oh, did I say that? I said a name. Anyway, I took the beating because I had two younger brothers. By the time Kurt came along, he was the youngest. They just handed him the keys and gave him some money to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But me, shit. Cops would pull us all around the country. Does your dad know you're in the back seat with these crazy lunatics?
Can you tell the story about your dad going out in the driveway and jumping in the car and
That was Easter. We
little Carmen?
My
Little,
senior year, I wrecked my car. We went out mushroom hunting, and I totaled my car out. These people pulled out in front of me, and I totaled my car. And I got home, and everybody was chewing my ass. My dad was on the phone chewing my ass, and it was Easter Sunday dinner, And so we're sitting there for dinner time, and Dad pulls up, and his buddy pulls up behind him, Dick Cecil. And whenever my dad was with Dick Cecil, they'd been drinking.
And I just met Dick Cecil.
Yeah, isn't that weird? You're
He's
in a
kind
bar.
of a celebrity among these
Oh
parts.
yeah. Oh, quite the drinker. Anyway, so we're sitting at the dinner, and my dad's chewing my ass about my insurance and all this bullshit. And the phone rings, and my dad has to go out on a house call. And he hangs up the phone. He goes, "I'll be back." He goes out and gets in his car and backs right into Dick Cecil's car and totals out the whole fucking front end of his GTO, And Dick's like, "My car!" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" My dad walked in. I go, "There go your premiums." Sorry, dude. He couldn't say anything. I mean, of course, he was thinking, this is all your fault because I'm pissed off at you. And then, no, you're a dumbass.
There probably weren't a lot of times where you got that kind of pleasure.
No, that was the only time. That was the worst day, best day of my life, all in one day. And I tell you what, and didn't find one mushroom because we never made it.
Did you and your dad have a solid relationship later on?
Later on, yeah. After I moved away and was gone for 20 years, we got along great.
Dude, you guys' parents,
I have a bunch of kids.
your
Yes.
parents still alive?
Oh yeah. My parents are still alive.
And your dad's still living,
Sherry's
Chris?
still alive.
Yes, my dad's 80
Sherry's
years
still
old.
alive.
What was your childhood like growing
You got
up?
about how long?
Were you the oldest, youngest?
Yeah. Well, it was weird because my parents split up when I was 10.
Okay.
So then my mom ended up marrying the guy that she's still with now. They've been married for 35 years.
Sure.
And he brought 3 kids with him.
Oh, okay.
She had 3, and then they had another one together.
Were you the oldest of the 3?
I was the oldest of my group, yes.
Okay.
And then they just sort of blended us together, and Dad had custody of his kids, and Mom had custody of us, and we became a family. It was sort of weird because it was in the early 80s, and there weren't a whole lot of families like us where the dad had custody of his kids,
Sure.
the mom had custody of hers. So for us to put together a family from those 2 units, it was really
That's 7
kind of cool.
kids, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And was that one spoiled, the last one?
Yeah, totally. I mean, she could have lost her virginity at the end of the couch, and Mom and Dad wouldn't have said shit. But it's a totally different fucking story.
You were the baby. Jeff was the baby.
Yeah.
You got to do everything you wanted.
Babies are good.
Yeah. And what about you, Chris?
My dad had the youngest, and my dad had a small business, so we were working all the time. And I started working, I think, my dad opened the business in maybe 74. So I started working when I was about 8.
And what'd you do when you were 8 at the store?
Oh, it's usually menial work or collate. This
Collate.
is before mechanics,
Yeah, well,
big
that's what I did when I came over and visited you.
Yeah, he collated.
Collate.
Yeah, sure. Collating was big. We
Pink,
bought a
blue,
ping
yellow,
pong
green,
table
pink, yellow,
with no
blue,
fucking
green.
paddles and that, just to fucking collate. That's how fucking hardcore we were.
We mowed. My dad would show up. He would find bricks. Some building be tore down. And they'd be out, drinking and going out to dinner. And the next morning I'd see the car parked, and it would be like the whole front end would be sticking up because he filled the trunk full of all these bricks. And then we had to clean all the bricks, knock all the mortar off of them, and then we laid out all these patios and stuff. I mean, we worked all the time, man. We're always trimming, mowing, cutting, painting the house.
I spent a lot of time at the ballpark when I was a kid.
Fuck.
My dad was a really good baseball player. I actually come from a family of good baseball players.
Cool.
My grandpa was in the Cardinals organization, and he developed emphysema and had to retire. He ended up dying at 39, really young. But he was a hell of a ball
Your
player.
grandpa?
Yeah, and then my
My
dad
grandpa played for the Cardinals. That's weird.
might have been about the same time.
Mine was back in the 20s.
My great-grandpa was an interesting guy. He's one of these dudes that managed a semi-pro baseball team for a business. There was a pottery in Monmouth, Illinois called Western Stoneware, and they were one of these, back before there were organized minor leagues, there were tons of these semi-pro teams around that were, these guys would have jobs at the business, but they'd play baseball. And that my grandpa managed and played on that team, and then his son, my grandfather, played in the Cardinals organization until he got sick. And then Dad played at Monmouth College and ended up playing professional fast pitch softball, which is really weird, but they actually paid players to go out and play softball, and he played for a couple of places fairly local. A place over in Macomb that was Heinold Hog Market was the name of the place.
Really?
Yep. And he played for a guy who owned a bunch of beef cattle over in Canton, Illinois.
You got pictures?
Probably somewhere, I'm sure. There are a ton. But I ran around ballparks the whole time I was young until, and I was a decent ball player, but I not like my dad. I couldn't field was my problem. I could hit the hell out of a ball. I had power to all fields, but I could not, if there was a pop-up on the infield and there were 2 outs, you better get somebody else to catch that fucking thing, because I
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That was part of the game because we took fungos all the time.
What Willie says, 3 quarts in the truth.
3 quarters of the truth. And it's all you know. With it, and it's funny here in school, and the basketball had the same philosophy as the baseball team. It was like, if they don't score, you don't lose. So it was defense, defense, defense. They really schooled us on defense, and didn't really spend a lot of time with us on offense. I mean, we learned how to advance runners, we learned how to bunt, hit to right, and stuff like that. But most of it was fielding, ground balls, line drives, pop ups. I mean, we did that all day. We played 7 innings without an error. And if you made an error, you know, they'd mock up a game and have guys run to the bases and hit the ball out there. And if you made an error, you started over.
Well, I remember.
And practices would go till 7:30, 8 o'clock. It got dark. Yeah, we still suck, but you know.
I focused on offense because there were a couple of guys who. My dad got me a book by Walter Reniak.
Okay.
And Walter Reniak was
he had a great hitting stuff.
Yep, and he was a guy who worked with.
That pull and push.
Yep.
Pull the bat, push to it.
Yep.
And Brett didn't make that.
George Brett was a guy that I really. I was a right-handed hitter, but
Still.
I always thought that Brett had one of the most compact swings. Getting the bat into the strike zone didn't take him really hardly any effort at all.
Yep.
And you see a lot of guys with big loopy swings and they
Yeah.
strike out a lot, but Brett had a really compact swing, and that Charlie Lau, Walter Reniak, that whole time period really focused me on hitting. One of my first books that Dad got me was Ted Williams' book, and you know his book on hitting. You know, was he the last guy who hit 400?
Yeah.
The only guy, right?
Well, no, there were other guys that hit 400 years before that, but
Right.
more of the dead ball era. But he was the last one in the real.
George Brett flirted with it.
Yeah,
Tony
390.
Gwynn flirted with it.
Tony Glenn.
389, I think. Tony Gwynn.
I love
had.
that guy.
Yeah. And Ron Darling, he was a flirter.
I ran into
Oh, Ron Darling.
a great San Diego Padre. One time I used to do security, and I used to do executive protection for a lot of people. I lived in Nashville.
Sure.
One of the guys that I protected was Garth Brooks.
Really?
And it was right about the time that he said he walked away from music and went and did a tryout with the San Diego Padres. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I thought it was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jackson.
Jordan. Michael
Actually
Jackson.
never played baseball.
We were at a hotel, and I was staying in post third shift, so I was right outside his room.
Yeah.
And usually that's like boring, totally. You never
yeah, 'cause
see
everybody's in
anybody.
bed by then,
Yeah. But it was like 3 a.m. The door opens. Here comes Garth Brooks, and he sat out in the floor of the hotel room, like Indian style, cross-legged, talking about baseball for an hour and a half. And then he's like, "Hey, I'm tired," and he went back in his room. And it was like the most surreal thing to talk to Garth Brooks about baseball.
So you talked to him?
Yeah, yeah.
What the hell were you doing in the hallway?
Security. I worked for Winona Judd for quite a while. I worked for the Cash John.
Remember Nebraska and Wyoming?
Johnny.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
I had great times with Johnny Cash and June. June used to steal my paper. I don't know, it was the weirdest fucking thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to get a
Jimmy
newspaper.
Carter's sister?
Every day I'd get a paper, and then
Yeah, June
June would
was
come
mine.
out.
Yeah, they're from Georgia. You know.
She'd be like, "Are you done with this, sweetheart?" And I'd say yes, and then she'd take it, and I'd never see it again.
She was clipping coupons.
She was clipping something.
Jim Carter.
There's a sale on
She was a nice lady, though. You know who was really nice was Winona's mom. She was like, she had these records all over that were gold and platinum, and then she's the same lady who's asking you if you have enough food to eat, and
Great.
can I get you some sweet tea? And
So you mostly had good experiences with these
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
I'm sure there's purple.
well,
But you
I had
prefer to talk about the good people.
I had a bad experience with one of Winona's husbands. She married this guy, and he sort of took advantage of his position as Winona's husband, and yeah, he wasn't fun. He one time he sideswiped one of her cars into the garage, and I had to go and tell her what happened because he would have blamed that shit on us.
Yeah.
He would call us at like 3 o'clock in the morning and say, "Hey, I want to go to the fitness center," and I had to explain to the guy, "You're not a high priority target or anything. Go to the fucking fitness center.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we don't need to escort you."
Right. No one gives a fuck who you are.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck. She was nice though, and her sister Ashley was really cool. I got to find out that Ashley Judd sleeps in the nude the first time I met her.
Pretty cool. She actually is.
Yeah, the whole family's really nice.
Conway Twitty does the same thing.
Not anymore. Not anymore. He's probably wearing rhinestones in the grave now, don't you think?
Glenn Campbell was the Rhinestone Cowboy song, right?
He had some pretty serious suits though, Conway
Oh,
Twitty.
sure. He had the hair too, man. He had the Trump hair before there was Trump hair. It was Conway Twitty hair.
He actually,
You know?
he owned a complex right down the road from where my family lives.
Twitty City.
Yeah.
Twitty City.
And he had a home for his mother, and he had a home for himself. And then they had a very, regionally it was kind of famous. It was called The Wings of the Dove, and it was a depiction of the life of Christ in 3D. It was, a lot of people went out to Twitty City to see that.
Sure, man. I think you could sell a lot of tickets if you have a religious gig. I mean, they have that.
Yeah.
They have that Evolution Museum in Kentucky, and it's not athletic at all. Otherwise, it would have built in 6 days. I forgot about that joke.
That's great.
But I mean, I think in religion in the South, you could do some kind of, something like that. I mean, you couldn't do that necessarily north of the Mason-Dixon line. I don't know where is the Mason-Dixon line, because that's like right across the river from Ohio. There's the Creation Museum.
Oh yeah, in Kentucky.
Yeah, it's right across the river. Right.
So it's in Covington.
No, it's like on the east side. It's out in the country,
Okay. Well,
It's like you have to take the beltway around east, and then you cross to Indiana, and then you cross to Kentucky, and then it's right there.
it'll evolve into those cities someday.
So you have any good parenting stories, Chris, from your...
My mom would always twist my ear. You ever get that?
Ooh.
The ear twist. That is the worst.
That's Three Stooges.
I mean, she only did it maybe 5 times, but I learned my fucking lesson every time.
man.
Because I mean, it's not like that kind of stays with you. It doesn't break, but man, it's boy, it
Take
gets
you to your knees, won't it?
Yeah, it's like my mom was the original Ronda Rousey.
My mom introduced me to the Beatles and Cher.
Now there you go. Yeah, my parents probably disapproved of both those, especially Cher, because Cher wore those revealing outfits.
Yeah, back in the day, she was hot. She was very hot.
Cher was a sex symbol for sure. Yes, more so than Sonny. Or their daughter.
I'd say
Or
that
son, or
that's
whoever that
a
is.
safe bet.
But yeah, all those. My dad would always. My dad was kind of a funny guy, but whenever he watched something on TV, he'd always be the first guy to go, "Oh, this is bullshit. This is horrible," And there's very few times where he thought there was something that worthwhile on TV. So.
We should probably do our Bill Burr moment.
Oh yeah.
Take a quick break, because I got to pee anyway.
Sure.
So we're hard up against our first break. Ebola and the problem with first ladies. So this is Bill Burr.
All right, how are you? How's it going? Thank you for coming out of this wonderful evening. I just got back from Southeast Asia doing some stand-up over there. Really cool people. Yeah.
6 minutes.
Studio poverty and stuff. So just come up the stage.
No, I connect through DSP program through Winamp.
See that level of poverty?
That's how we broadcast.
Salt itching and stuff. Wow. Probably got Ebola.
Too goddamn old. Too goddamn blind.
That would be a good thing.
It's pretty cool.
Bring that here, just to kind of thin out the traffic a little bit, right? Why don't they ever just let it burn through one time? Why do we always gotta jump on it? You ever had one of those selfish thoughts? Like, what if it was a bunch of people who died, nobody you knew or loved, right? And then the next day you just get to tear right through the Lincoln Tunnel at about 5 in the evening, right? The only thing you'd have to suppress is the guilt of not missing those people you didn't know, right? I shouldn't make fun of Ebola. I don't know anything about it. Other than if you get it, you have this unbelievable urge to go to the airport. Right? Yeah, I don't know what it is. Nobody gets Ebola just has the decency to just walk out in the woods by themselves and just bleed out like a gentleman, right? For some reason, you gotta go right down to the airport. Can I downgrade to a middle seat?
So, I'm sick of Obama's wife. Yeah. This isn't some Republican rant either. It's just kind of first ladies in general. You know, I don't know what it is. All throughout my life, with each presidency, like these first ladies, they've just gotten more and more like chatty. You know, more and more chiming in, like leaning into the frame, spitting out their ideas. It's just like, well, why are you talking? Right? You weren't elected. Shut up. Your husband's not running a lemonade stand here. He's running the country. You don't just chime in. Let me guess, is this considered sexist? It is? Why? Well, okay, you just nodded there, lady. Let me ask you this, all right? Let's say you had a leak in your house, okay? You call a plumber up. He shows up, and he goes, yeah, I think the leak's coming from the upstairs bathroom. We need to shut it up, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden his wife walks in, who isn't a plumber. And he goes, hey, you know, I'm actually taking care of it. Wouldn't you be like, with all due respect, shut the f*** up. I need a plumber in this moment. I'll extend an olive branch here. All right, at some point, there's going to be the first female president, right? Exactly. Which means at that moment, you're going to have the first male first lady, right? And when that happens, that dude needs to shut his trap. I don't want to hear a word out of him. I want to hear from the president. You, sir, go do some first lady stuff, all right? Go get yourself some gloves that go up to your elbows. Smile and nod during speeches. Go put your own flair redecorating the White House, right? Which leads you to Michelle Obama, right? Now she's sitting there holding up those hashtags. Remember that hashtag, Bring Back Our Girls? Remember that? It's like, it blew my mind. It's like, why are you showing me that? I'm a stand-up comedian. Like, what am I going to do to get those girls back? Why don't you look across the dinner table? It's like, you see that guy?
So fucking
That is
funny.
the leader of the free world. Tell him to pick up a phone, call some Navy SEALs and solve it. What am I going to do? Show up with a sharpened mic stand? Michelle, bring it back!
Yeah. Probably the best guy out there right now.
Oh, it's unreal.
It's so funny.
2
I'll tell you
minutes.
what kills me. Hillary Clinton might run. She might run. That blows my mind. I mean, how she became a senator. She went from being the president's wife to being a senator. Just like that. Lateral move. That's like Tom Brady's wife becoming the next quarterback of the Rams. You're hanging out. You just pick it up. I sucked at sports, and then I banged Tom Brady, and I don't know what happened. I just picked up the ball. I started lacing it. I'm leading receivers. It was incredible. I knew it was going to be like this. You know what's funny? There's actually people out there that think a woman being president is actually a good idea. Yeah? Can you believe that? See that they do? That'll do something. That'll change things. How? How the f*** is that going to change anything? Do you know what the president makes a year? The president makes $400 grand a year. That's it. He's trying to keep billionaires in line, making $400 grand a year. That's all he makes. He makes less than some people blogging on the internet. The president should have you money, right? He shouldn't be sitting there with his pockets turned and saying, I need your help to give me the job, right? What do you guys all donate to the campaign? Is that what it is? Fans enjoying it. Martha Stewart, not so much, but the rest of you, enjoying it. They're just jokes, Martha. Come on, you got an empire. I'm rooting for you. All right, I'm out of time. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
Fearless. The man is fearless.
Yeah. He is probably the most cutting edge. You know, you posted something interesting. You shared a link that was...
Yeah, some kind of it was 10 bits of Bill Hicks that prove he was one of the best comics ever.
Right.
Interesting read. It's on the... is it on my website or my Facebook for the club or the...
it was your personal
my
one.
personal, yeah, Facebook. Yeah, and that was an amazing set of clips. And but yeah, You know, Bill Burr, again, what he does, he not only says stuff or talks about subjects no one else will talk about, but he gets away with it, and he hits a fucking grand slam into the upper deck, too.
Every single
Why he
time.
does it, he's just, you know, yeah, he kind of creates the tension and cuts it better than anyone.
And he's making himself socially relevant right now. I mean, he's marketing himself very well, and he's saying "fuck you" at the same time, which I think is amazing because most people can't get away with that. You know, they can't build their sort of brand and
kind of, you know, I mean, he's probably the as far as comics go, the guy who's probably the most socially relevant, I would say.
And now Bill Cosby is a punchline.
He is a punchline. Isn't that amazing? I mean, you go from a comedy icon to
A punchline on an award show.
Now he's going to be known for something other than his comedy, I guess, and his TV show and his Jello pudding commercials, which were awesome.
I love Jello. He was a big part of my childhood, you know.
Sure
I used to watch Fat Albert when I was a kid.
Hey, sure.
And then the Cosby Show, obviously.
And it was always Bill. They'd always go back to Bill, kind of lecturing about the kids and make the right decisions. And wow.
You know, he
We
ironically
have a 4 or 5 book collection of Bill Cosby on stage here at Mason City Limits. Now it's on the fireplace. So I don't know if it's all of his books, but we have like at least 4 or 5 of his books on the stage.
He wrote a really interesting one, and I have a copy of that at home. And it's about overcoming being a victim. And I thought, wow, really? It's called "Come On, People, on the Path from Victim to Victors." Bill Cosby wrote a how-to for victims.
Wow.
That's kind of ironic.
Wow. Well, I mean, he wasn't talking about the girls he drugged, but he honestly, at that time, he probably thought he wasn't doing anything wrong. He probably thought, you know, these women would probably sleep with me anyways. I'll just cut to the chase. And he probably didn't think he was doing anything wrong. And
Really?
I don't know. Do you think...
Cosby didn't know what he was doing.
No, he knew what he was doing, but he didn't think it was wrong.
He didn't think it was wrong because Quaaludes, who hasn't got some chick fucked up to have sex with her?
Yeah, but to the point they're passed out?
Well, that's no fun.
And as a regular, I mean,
it's like,
he was consistently doing this. It wasn't like it was just once
yeah,
in a
you
while.
know, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, I've had some girls who don't like me, but I've never had 32 of them say I fucking drugged them and
here's
sex with them, you know?
I think here's the real.
I mean, I'm not the most popular guy in the room.
I think
but I'm just saying.
Cosby point really is that Cosby sort of became a moral compass for a lot of comics and a lot of people of his generation,
He was
people
an
of
icon.
color.
Total icon.
And, you know, he kind of used that pulpit to tell other people what to do and what not to do.
And to attract young women to him, where he was going to be the father figure. And he manipulated that circumstance quite a bit from what I've read. You know, I mean, everything was pretty consistent victim to victim, you know.
But that whole air of superiority is what brought him down because it annoyed the shit out of Hannibal Buress, and then Hannibal put it out there.
Well, Hannibal Buress might be one of the most powerful voices in comedy as far as that goes, you know. I mean, I would say he single-handedly brought, but he was a guy, I mean, until that clip got out there, that was not a news story.
Right.
And
Hannibal Buress was an up-and-comer, really. I mean, he'd done
but he
a couple
wasn't a household name.
Not yet, no. And now he's
a household name.
Yeah, everybody knows him.
Bill Cosby knows him.
Yeah, what do you think Bill Cosby thinks about Hannibal Buress right now? He's got to hate the guy.
Well, I think, in fact, Hannibal had a line about that, something about they hate that guy as much as Bill Cosby hates my comedy. That was his line. And I forget who he was talking about, but, you know, yeah, he even acknowledged, Bill, oh, sure he does. Yeah.
I wonder if he's gotten any hate because of it. I wonder if there are people that are Cosby lovers that have just...
I'm sure early on, I'm sure it's kind of dissipated, though. I don't think that's going on now.
Well, how do you think...
Immediately afterwards, yeah, I'm sure.
How do you think...
That's kind of been a drip thing where
right.
It's like, okay, it's not just 3 or 4 people, it's 34 people.
Right.
I don't know. You know.
I'd like to see a meeting between Hannibal Buress and Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, she's one of the people that's still.
Yeah, but
How's she going to treat Hannibal
but I mean,
Buress?
she did the same thing to who was the director, Sharon Tate's husband.
Roman Polanski.
Roman Polanski basically was accused of doing the same thing with an underage girl.
Right.
And she was like, yeah, but it's not rape. I don't know. That's a really odd. It's a really odd way to think about things. To suggest that getting an underage girl drunk, 16 at the time, I believe, and having sex with her when I don't know if she was passed out, but she was definitely intoxicated.
And that's not rape.
I couldn't get away with that. How come Roman Polanski gets away with that, you know? But there's a lot of them in Hollywood who are like, well, but they're fans of his. But I'm just saying,
Right.
Dude, if that was your daughter, I mean, I'm just saying, come on, there's got to be some kind of standard. Yeah, you know, we can't be having older, creepy guys getting teenage girls, 16-year-olds, drunk and having sex with them. Maybe we should have a standard.
Do you think that there's sort of a pass here because some of these women have achieved notoriety of their own, they're famous, they're accessible, the public knows about them, so maybe there's not as much sympathy for these people?
I don't think so. I mean, I can't say I know of any of the Cosby victims. I mean, could I pick them out of she's in this show or she was in this? I couldn't name. Who was the most famous Cosby victim?
Here's the reason I say that, because there's really no outrage. I've never seen this outrage, but if you have somebody rape 34 college students...
Right. I disagree. I mean, I would think he's not arrested, but I think a lot of that has to do with probably statute of limitations.
Oh, who was the comic that we were talking... Was I talking to you about that? The comic that got locked up for raping girls on college campuses?
Oh, yeah, that was that was a guy I actually worked with. His name escapes me, but he was a cruise ship guy. But I mean, he would work really clean, and the odd thing was, when I worked with him in Kansas City, and one of our mutual friends, Elliot Threep, showed up. Elliot's a great comic. He used to live with this dude, Vince Champ.
Vince Champ, that's right.
And and it was like, he got convicted. I don't know how many he got convicted for, but he was accused of, 6 to 8. I don't think he's going to get out of jail.
He was convicted for one. I know that.
But I mean, he was suspected for several.
Yes, absolutely. They certainly think that he, and I'm sure that he did. I have no doubt that he did.
Yeah, and I would say they probably might still prosecute him, right? I mean, if he gets out of jail...
I think that's potentially a problem for him,
That's very possible. Hey, you're going to get out of jail in 7 years, and guess what? We have your DNA here and here and here.
Right.
And we're going to prosecute you. I mean, why wouldn't they? And
He's
was that a
probably
state or a
screwed.
federal charge, I wondered?
I think it was a state charge for North Dakota or something like that.
Yeah, because he did it in several states.
Yeah.
He would be within 2 or 3 hours of a college campus. He would go to the music room because it was soundproof, too.
Which is really creepy.
And then he'd spit on him when he was done and say, pray for me. Really creepy.
Yeah, very strange guy.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, when I worked with him, he was a straight arrow. Didn't drink, didn't smoke, nothing like that. I drink and smoke all the time. And there was a microbrewery right by the condo, and I got back 2:30 in the morning, and Mr. Straight Arrow was nowhere to be found. I wake up about 10 in the morning, and there's a note going, hey, man, I was out late last night, but use the rental car if you want to.
Wow.
Okay, cool, I will. Maybe something's wrong. Maybe my fingerprints are somewhere now. But I mean, it was kind of creepy and then I kind of talked to him, and he was in his bed. But I mean, again, it's one thing if you're a partying guy, you're going to be out to. Again, I was out to the bar closed 2:00, 2:30, and he wasn't back yet. And then where the fuck was he the whole time?
Yeah.
He was out fucking raping, I guess.
Apparently. Well, this whole presidential thing is in an upswing, and Donald Trump continues to be relevant.
I think we should focus on the people that are like not Democrats or Republicans, even not even Libertarians or Green Party. But I mean, there's a lot of people running for president who probably need the airtime.
I would agree.
I mean, obscure people running for president. I think there was a guy on my Facebook who is, I forget his name, Ed Baker maybe? Is that his name?
Don't know.
Ed Baker's running for president.
I don't understand I really don't understand the fascination with Trump. I mean, I don't understand how he can be polling as high as he is.
I don't know
with
either,
this.
but I mean, there's a long way to go, and I think all this stuff right now is really, to be honest, is irrelevant. You know, it's these people 6 months from now or may not be. I mean, this is all. It doesn't matter now. It's like, hey, my team's in first place in April in the major. You know, it doesn't matter because it's fucking September. Fucking my team is fucking 25 games out.
Isn't it a little surprising though?
Nothing matters now.
Yeah, but at any point during the season, do you really expect Donald Trump to be in first place? I mean, seriously, do you really think at any point?
I mean, there's been plenty of people who've been leading at this point who, at the end of the day, are totally. Rudy Giuliani was a good example, right? When he first, he was like, you know, Gary Hart. Remember Gary Hart?
Yep.
Remember John Edwards? Or John
Well,
Edwards?
wasn't it a chick that got Giuliani in trouble ultimately? Wasn't it a problem with a female?
And it was Gary Hart too, and it was John Edwards too. Actually, all three of them, yeah. But John Edwards was the worst because he was fucking propping up his fucking cancer-ridden wife and the campaign trail while he was cheating on her the whole fucking time.
What a scumbag!
And a lawyer, yeah, scumbag total. But that guy, he needs to go away. But he's a whatever millionaire. But I mean, that was kind of, you know, ridiculously scummy.
Do you think Barry Sanders has a legitimate chance at all?
Barry Sanders. Is he running
Bernie Sanders.
Oh, okay.
Barry Sanders is not running anymore.
Barry Sanders is not
for Detroit or anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a football fan, but I was like, wow, I didn't know Barry Sanders was running for... Because Lynn Swan did.
That's something we can talk about. What the hell ever happened to Barry Sanders? I never understood why Barry Sanders...
Well, I think he didn't like his coach, but you know, in hindsight, I don't know, all those concussions and stuff, Tony Dorsett probably wishes he retired a few years early, you know?
Wasn't Barry Sanders on a pace, really, to... Shouldn't he have been...
He was totally on pace. But
he should have been the guy to pass Jim Brown.
He didn't like his coach, and I think he just... I mean, I think he made his money, and he was like, hey, I'm still healthy. I don't know. I think if you ask Barry Sanders, he probably says, hey, I made the right decision, whatever. I mean, he had a kind of a Gale Sayers type career. You know, short and spectacular. Gale Sayers only played 4 or 5 years, I think, but he played about 7 years, maybe 6 years. So that's a good guy to compare to. But I mean, I don't know. But
Jim Brown didn't play all that long. He quit.
He played about 8 or 9 years, and you know, I think he's probably better for it. He's still a reasonable guy. I mean, again, they had the test about all these people that, well, not all the football players, but everyone who submitted to a test. They had a really high percentage of the brain damage thing, you know.
There's a really great documentary out there that was done by, I think it was done by ESPN in association with a couple of guys who wrote a book on concussions in the NFL.
There's a new movie coming out too called Concussion, I think.
Yeah.
By old dude from the rapper guy. He's not a rapper anymore. Along the most famous black actor going on right now from Independence Day, Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Oh, yeah. I think I did see something about that.
Yeah, and I'm sure the NFL's not going to like it.
Well, there was certainly an evolution in how the NFL viewed concussions and their relation.
They just have the highlight. They would sell the highlight films of the biggest hits.
Absolutely.
You know? They made money off it, basically.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jack Tatum basically paralyzed the guy. Darryl Stingley, you know?
Yep.
Well, that happened in the 70s. And, you know, they made some progress about, you know, launching yourself as a defensive player and, but I mean, it's still a violent game. It's like hockey. I mean, you're going to get hurt. You might lose some teeth if you play.
Even
hockey.
If you're an official, you might get hurt.
If you play hockey professionally, you better have a dental plan. Right? That makes sense. So. You wouldn't be surprised you lose a tooth or two in hockey.
How did you feel about these two high school defensive backs spearing this referee?
Although that was they basically, and the coach admitted, assistant coach admitted that he said to go for it. He said he directed him. So there's some mitigation there, I guess, but you know, and then of course the referee is accused of using racial slurs, and I don't know if he denies that or not, or if that's just something who knows, you know, but the coach, the assistant coach, told him to do that. So I don't know, if you're a 16-year-old kid and you're, I don't know. why don't
In
you
what
coach?
world is it okay to, even if the guy did use a
Oh, it's
racial
totally
slur?
wrong, and the kids will face a suspension or something, and they should, sure. In fact, but I mean, that assistant coach should never coach again.
I would agree with that as
I
well.
would think he shouldn't be around kids and teaching or nothing like that.
I agree.
At least in the state of Texas, I don't know. If he moves somewhere, he might be able to get a license. But I think, I mean, if you tell your kids to do that to a referee who's
Done.
he's not even looking at you, I mean, it was a defenseless guy, and I guess the guy's okay. But and I don't know what he did to piss everybody off. Who knows if that's even relevant. You can't do that to somebody if they call you a name.
No matter
How
what.
wrong
what
they are. I'm
do
sure there's a recourse through the administration. But again, the worst person on this is the coach who says, you guys do this. And the kids were put in a wrong, tough spot, and they made the wrong choice.
Yes, they did. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've got great things coming up in Mason City. First of all, Tim Cavanaugh, 25th and 26th.
Well, I don't know what the dates are. What was it? I think it's 11, 18, 25, and 26.
Yeah.
8:30 on Friday, 8 p.m. on Saturday. There's the Smokies, who donated the avocados for our guacamole. He's going to do a dinner show special with a little chicken Alfredo, so you have a nice meal. Come over and see the show at a real good price. I think it's $55 per couple. The tickets to the show are just $15 each. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, a nice meal there. Come on over, see a show. And then coming up, we have our open mic night on the 2nd of October. It's a Friday. And then the 3rd of October is our friend Dak Graycow. Someone knows Dak. And then after that, we're going to see how October falls. I'm sure we'll be adding some shows. Probably a couple more showcase shows. But we're up against the Cardinals and the Cubs that first week afterwards. And we're kind of keeping an eye on that. So, and then November coming up, we have Drew Hastings, mayor, farmer, comedian, not necessarily in that order, and then our friend Todd Young, who's one of our favorites ever. Draw's great.
Yep.
Every show you see with Todd is different. Even have Ryan Singer coming back in December. We talked about that.
I'm looking forward to Ryan Singer being here. Todd Young's great. Make sure you come out and see him. I'm going to be doing a show local on October 17th, and just because it's my prerogative, I'm going to play a quick clip from me recently in Wiley's in Dayton.
I'm a gay marriage supporter. Not everybody is, and I understand. You guys hear about this Texas minister who threatened to set himself on fire if gay marriage was legalized? And then he fucking didn't. I was so excited. I was like, we are finally going to find out if hypocrisy is flammable. I saved myself some money on tiki torches this year. I just picked up 4 anti-gay pastors and stuck them in the backyard. I gotta take some bitches back because they were white.
And that's a little bit of me. And I think we're about
I gotta
to...
get in with that club, which used to be my home club, by the way. But they sold the owners, and I gotta fucking get into it.
It's a nice place.
Yeah.
We got a great room.
I've been there a million times, but fucking not with the new owners, so I gotta knock on some doors. The thing is, I don't have anything online. I have VHS tape, so I don't have to send a tape. I just send a VCR along with the tape, so we can plug it in.
Well, we should record some stuff for you. Thanks for listening. We're going to head out. This is Clap for the Wolfman by the Guess Who.
You guys play this? Indie. You play indie.